All right, Junkie Nation, gorgeous George and Goes delivering again another MMA superstar. It's young Victoria Lee, who's back. She's going to be fighting Luping Wang at One Championship Battleground on July 30th. It's coming up here in about 10 days. It is a hybrid card, and it is a pay-per-view available on the fabulous One app. Hey, Victoria, how you doing? Good to have you back.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, thank you. You know, we talked to you before your first fight, and I wanted to ask you, everything you envisioned and everything you told the media, including us, did it all go according to plan, or was it just like chaos once you got there and once the fight started? Like, did it live up to your dreams?
It was an experience. It was a combination of so much your feelings being in Singapore Stadium again, but a lot of new experience and definitely a lot of mixed emotions. But overall, I enjoyed the entire experience, and it was definitely something that I enjoy.
Now, I wanted to ask you, when the fight was done, it was a few months ago, it was in February. When it was done, were you thinking, get me back in there, I love this? Or did you feel like, no, I want to take my time and then pursue the next one? Like, what have you learned a little bit, I guess, from your siblings and how they've done it, and you apply that to your upcoming fights and your strategy and growing as a fighter?
Well, after my first fight, that is it. I was thinking I loved it. I couldn't wait for my next fight, and I just wanted to get back in the gym and keep improving and keep training and just get ready for my next fight. When I got the call, I was so excited, and I can't wait to get back in the ring and do it again.
Yeah, so you got Luping Wang, who has more experience than you, but not by much. She's on a 3-fight win streak, and I wanted to know, what were your thoughts when you got the matchup and you started maybe looking at the film alongside your pops or your siblings? What started standing out to you?
Well, actually, I haven't been able to. I don't know much about this opponent, Wang Luping. All I know is that she's got a 3-2 record, similar to the last opponent. She has more experience than me, but that's okay. I'm just training hard and focusing on improving my skills, and I'll be ready for this match.
Is that by choice that you elect to not learn too much about the opponent and let the coaches handle that? Or is it that you just haven't gotten to that part yet, where you'll maybe go over a little bit of video?
I actually haven't been able to find any footage of her because I believe she fights out of a China promotion, and they don't release much of their videos. So I haven't been able to watch her fights. I just, from what I've heard of her, and I know her record is 3-2, and I've heard that she's an aggressive striker. So I guess we'll just have to see how our styles match up.
Yeah, well, I've heard that before when we've interviewed other fighters as well. Sometimes if they're in a smaller promotion, or like in this situation where the rights to video are, hard to come by, the fighters just have to put that to the side and basically worry more about themselves anyway and what they're going to do rather than the opponent. Is that frustrating for you? Has there been any form of a mental setback, the fact that you just don't know as much about the opponent?
Well, I feel like it's similar to when I was competing in the Junior World Championship. Back then, it's style. You don't know who you're going to face, and you don't know what styles are like. You just have to focus on improving your own skills. When you show up on tournament day, you just gotta see how it all plays out. And I think that has its pros and cons. You can strategize against your opponents, but I don't feel like. I feel like even though I haven't been able to see much footage on, I haven't been able to see any footage on her really. I don't think that would be too much of an issue. I think it's just going to be similar to my junior competitions of just showing up and fighting on game day.
Victoria, when you think about the end game here in every fight, is there a particular finish that you've always dreamed of having, a head kick KO, a flying armbar? Has there ever been one of those that stood out that you said, before this is all said and done, I want to get me one of these?
Well, the way that we train for the fast finish. I've always admired my brother and sister, and especially my sister's twister finish. I think that was one of the most spectacular finishes ever, and I would love to accomplish that one day. But for now, I'm just going for the fastest finish, whatever submission presents itself to me. But that is definitely like on the bucket list of things for me to hit.
When you went back and watched the first fight, did you remember every second of that fight? Like live, did it feel almost like a blur? And then going back, were there things that you didn't even notice had happened in the fight?
Definitely. In the moment, it feels like everything's going in slow motion. And then when you try to think back on it, it's hard to actually remember what happened in the fight until you're watching it on the screen. But when I review tape with my coach, my dad, and I'm able to be like, oh, that's how I felt in this position. And he's able to give me the constructive criticism to improve on the situation. And it's hard because sometimes you know what you're supposed to be doing, but there's just so much nerves and pressure that it's hard for your body to actually do the movement that you're supposed to do. But I think going into this next match, I will have a more familiar approach to it. And I think that my next match, I'll be able to go through with the game a lot more than my first match.
Are there things that you worked on that maybe you wanted to show off in that first fight, but because of the way it played out, maybe you just never got to show some of those skills? Or are there a lot of those that we didn't get to see?
Well, I think in my first match, the initial game plan was to go in there and strike entry, take her down, and finish her in the first round as fast as possible. But I think the whole nerves and everything kind of got caught up to me in that first match. And I had to kind of shake it off and then restart and hit the reset button and do it again in the second round, hopefully. And my coaches have helped me to, we've been doing multiple starts in training to simulate that. And going into my next match, I think that I'll be able to do the whole game plan and finish a lot faster this time around.
What do the girls in Hawaii think of you and your sister? I mean, you two just must be so inspiring to them. What are some of the kind messages that you've received or the things that they tell you in person?
Personally, I haven't had of those encounters, but some messages online are all very positive, and it's nice to be able to have that impact. A lot of people are and it's hard for some young girls to get as much recognition as we do in this sport, but I'm just following in my sister's footsteps. I just want to be a role model for other young female athletes like she is to so many people around the world, including I really look up for all that she's done for all athletes in this sport, especially young girls.
Well, those encounters are coming, I'm telling you, because everybody's talking about the Fighting Lee family out of Hawaii. First there was Ensign Inoue, and then we had BJ Penn, and of course Max Holloway. And there's a lot of other fighters as well from Hawaii, Yancy Medeiros, Brad Tavares. But now the Fighting family, the Lees, are just on the map. You guys are just racking up the wins these last few months and years, some belts. It's really something that you all as a family should be proud of. You're doing it the right way, and you guys are just, like I say, accomplishing so much and at a young age. And I just think it's awesome. And it's probably going to be pretty inspiring to a lot of the future generation in Hawaii and probably worldwide.
Thank you. I'm so proud to be part of this family, and I look up to my brother and my sister and so much for all that they've done for us, and how much that they're doing for the sport. I mean, without my sister was like a pioneer for the women's martial arts in one championship, and without her, I don't think that the there would be as much females competing in martial arts.
Do you think that, by the way, with, once the pandemic's over, one championship will be in Hawaii? Bellator made a big splash the last few years. And then obviously, again, the pandemic slowed things down. The UFC's yet to go there. But I'm just wondering if it's now clear as day that one championship has to go to Hawaii with all three of you.
I would love for the championship to host an event in Hawaii. I don't know how, like, with the government in Hawaii, the regulations, the restrictions, the COVID cases are going down. And if they're able to pull that off, that would be an incredible show. And I'm sure that with my siblings will bring a fully packed stadium.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee it. The only one that's not going to like it is your dad. He's going to be running back and forth to warm you up, to coach, and it's going to be crazy. But I'm sure you guys are used to it, and I'm sure you guys have a great support system. Victoria, it's great to catch up with you. We've not only seen the improvement in, well, not necessarily in fighting, because that was the first time you debuted, but wow, you've really been chatting it up with us. So you definitely are seeming more comfortable in front of the camera. I wanted to tell you that. And I think that's just great. And your confidence is growing, and you got a first fight under your belt. Just go out there and have fun. You know what I mean? Have fun. And I think you got the skills to be a world champion. I'm sure we're going to see that one day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.